So, as Remy rightly mentioned earlier, we shall be speaking to the opposition chief whip, Honorable Abdul Karim Kamara, on the controversies surrounding over 30,000 students who were disqualified from taking the 2024 WAS examination, saying almost 50% of them are descendants from the West and Northwest region. Well, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
So I would like to know, because this is a claim that you're making, I would say, or probably through your survey or something. Why are you saying that 50% were from the North and Northwest region?
I think that would be the small aspect of the claim. Let me also correct the fact that you said 30,000. That 30,000 is not from me. The 30,000 is what WAEC and the Ministry of Education allude to, that they are left out. My claims are very clear that the total number of students left out of these exams are a number of 150,000 kids. Okay. That's what I said. Okay. And how do we get the numbers? Very simple. The mathematics is as simple as what nobody needs to... there are two sets of issues we have now. Okay. We have the number of kids. First of all, for you to take the WASC as a school, a PPL, the schools need to submit a list to the Ministry of Education. And this list were submitted. The total number of students submitted in that list is around 202,000 kids. And these are just for government schools and government-assisted schools. These do not include private schools at all. So in total, if you have 202,000 kids submitted, and what WAEC is alluding now that they have in their system is 146,000, it means almost a total of 70,000 kids are left out. Plus the 30%, the 30,000 they have accepted now to have left out of the system gives us a total number of 100,000 kids. You have the number of kids that have not accessed the portal and that have not been accepted by the Ministry of Education at all, who are in the private schools, who count for almost 70,000 kids. So the numbers I'm giving are not confusing at all. But let's say for all intents and purposes, we are in the harvesting year, the first harvesting year of the free quality education. And we all, Remy and others were in Parliament. When we started the free quality education, I was one of the MPs who said, this free quality education is a scam. It will not work. It will not give the dividends we want. Everybody was over the radio. The president was saying, oh, the free quality education has brought in more kids in schools. The free quality education has brought in more people who have left school 10 years ago are now coming back to school because of the free quality education. Or everybody, even some of us who did not believe it was going to yield fruit, accepted that for the very first time, this was a policy initiative by president that was good for Sierra Leone. I must say this. Yeah. Being an opposition does not mean you should not say the truth. The policy, the ideas of president bringing in the free quality education at that material time was applauded by almost all Sierra Leoneans. So now we are having a situation in which just last year, we had a total number of 243,000 who took the exams. This is not at the harvest stage of the free quality education. This is not the first set of free quality education students who were more than every other time admission in school. So this year, when we're having the harvest, the first fruit of His Excellency the President, to test from, to see how effective the free quality education was productive, we're having 140,000 kids. So if you take the number of kids for last year, which is 240, which was the number before the free quality education was introduced, and you take the current number of kids now, when the free quality education has been in operation at the first. Don't forget, before the free quality education, there was nothing like radical inclusion. So kids who are pregnant, they leave schools, they don't come back. With the free quality education and the radical inclusion, we have almost 0.1% of kids who are pregnant who don't come back to school. Every child that is pregnant, they come back to school. They attend schools. So the number to drop is to less than 100,000 pupils compared to what took the exam last year is in itself a call for concern. Are you saying, well, I find it difficult sometimes to say this. Are you saying the president was not telling us the truth when he was reading the figures to us? Are you saying the Ministry of Education and previous ministers were not telling us the truth? Were they inflating the numbers? Because these numbers do not calculate now to give us the current trend of what we are having in public examination. Are you saying we were wasting our taxpayers' money paying for ghost kids who are not in schools?
And that's your concern, and which is very key. So in all of this, who should we blame? Because I read your piece when you were saying that the Ministry of Basic Education fits for purpose, and you're calling on President to look into that. So where are we missing at this point? Because this is a concern. And the other day we interviewed the Minister of Basic Education here, Konrad Saki, and you were actually saying that if possible for the ministry to go to Ghana to rectify this problem, to ensure that the students who were actually left out to take the exam will be included into the system. They will go there and they will ensure they engage WAEC into all of that. But who should be blamed into all of this?
First of all, the Minister of Basic Education is not fit for purpose. I'll say this wherever I go. It's not fit for purpose. And at a time like this, it needs to go home. What we are facing today are situations that have engulfed our nations, not just in its own period. We had ministers like Timbo. We had ministers like Moina Senge. They all encountered different situations dealing with the WAS examination. Let me say this. First of all, let him tell us what he received. It's not a matter of going to Ghana. Why do we have to pay per diem for him to go and enjoy? You still want to waste our taxpayers' money. What we need now is let the Ministry of Education tell us how many number of kids they receive from private and from public schools and government-assisted schools. Tell us what do you receive. Tell us what do you submit to WAEC. Tell us why did you submit that number to WAEC and how many numbers were left out. Tell us why for this year the Ministry of Education and WAEC have not accepted private schools to pay for their own candidates. Tell us. Give us a total number of kids who are in private schools who are to take this exam. Give us a total number of kids you've rejected from the ministry, and tell us why WAEC have deliberately omitted 30,000 kids. As we speak, the portal is still open in Ghana. So why is the case different in Sierra Leone? Why? Again, we have a situation in which let's put all the arguments of the ministry together and say, for want of evidence, their arguments are true and they are plain and they are correct. That one, the principals do not send in information early. Or secondly, is the issue of the caste. Thirdly, is the issue of kids not entries were not done on time. In all of this, what is the fault of the kids? These kids have committed no crime. They've not break any rules. This is not a situation where you say the kids do not have NIN or the kids do not have Becker, where the parents have to go to ensure the kids have their NIN or they have their Becker results. This is the fault the ministry is levying is on the principals. For 3 years, we've been blaming the principals. Why can't you go and have a system in which you bring the principals to book and allow these poor kids to take the exams? If you're saying the kids cannot pay for themselves, at the time they were just supposed to pay 170,000 at school. If you deprive them from taking government WAS, do you believe those poor parents, parents who cannot afford 100,000, you expect them to afford 1,200,000 or 1,200 for private WAS?
But why are we blaming the Ministry of Basic Education when the sole responsibility in entering or register this student from the schools? They have their responsibility to entry. So if you fail to register someone and then the ministry are just waiting for the registration, they have it.
I have helped you to understand two things. One, the principals and schools submit to the Ministry of Education.
And what they submit?
No, wait, let me come. They verified. Yeah. And that's what I told you. They submitted the total number of ministry was submitted to the ministry was 202,000 and more. That's what was submitted. Yeah. It is the prerogative of ministry to analyze the candidates, look at their qualifications and everything, and submit and ask the principals. That's the first step. Now they say, okay, say for example, Annie Walsh, you've submitted these candidates. These are the ones who are qualified. You remember the days of Minkailuba, the days of Timbo, and even the days of Senge? We had those issues. They come out clearly to say, this is the number of students you have submitted. These are the numbers of students who are supposed to take the exams. And the unique thing is, when they do short things, the number they submit to WAEC of schools are not cut down. In these situations, they submitted total number of 222,000 kids to you. Now what have happened? Even that number, you choose 176,000 you sent to WAEC. WAEC has only inputted 146,000. There is a gap of almost 70,000 kids left in the Ministry of Education. There is a gap of 30,000 kids omitted by WAEC. And you have the gap of students who are with the private schools who have not been allowed to enter into the system. My question is simple. What crime has those kids committed? Let's say for want of prosecution, that's what I've said, for want of justice or any other thing, the principals, as you stated, might have done what is wrong. I am not here to make brief for the principal. They have council of conference of principals. They have SLTU. It's not my concern. I don't know of an association of students, pupils. They don't have an association. And these are the people who are going to suffer. If it was an issue that concerned principals, I would have not been here. If it was an issue that concerns teachers, I would have not been here. This is an issue that concerns poor kids, the future of our kids. Mr. President, in case somebody might have misinformed you, note this, that the total number of kids in this age bracket are the same age bracket of the same young people who are taking Kush. Not allowing them to take this exam is a recipe to frustrate them, to forestall their progress, and to destroy the future of this nation. Whatever you can do, Mr. President, it's high time you do it. If it takes you, Mr. President, who has brought in this free quality education to better the lives of these young people, to travel to Ghana, to travel to any part of the world to remedy this situation, these 1,500 kids should not be left out. This is not out of politics. This is not because I am APC. This is not because I am from the north. This is not because I don't have a school. I am not a proprietor. I am not a member of any school board. But I am saying this because these kids who are being left out are the future of this nation. WAEC is a private institution, but they get their student base and their customers through government. Therefore, they can bend backward to ensure they accommodate kids.
We invited the Ministry of Basic Education through their communication specialist, but we were told that the Minister of Basic Education, Conrad Saki, will update the public today at the Ministry of Information and Civic Education press briefing. So they will not come here to talk on that. But AYV platform is always open, for the Ministry of Basic Education to be part of the conversation. But, Honorable, moving forward, what as a nation we should do now to ensure we do not encounter such issue, because it was the same last year and then this year again, and this one is more scary because it's a huge number. Like you said, it's over 100,000, and that is scary. And you mentioned compared towards those who actually been taking Kush, and reports about 30,000 of them were currently on that. So as a nation, how would we move past this in order to ensure we're able to rectify some of these problems with your voice as well in Parliament?
I am happy that for the very first time, the minister is going to a press conference to brief the country. If there's anything I'm very proud of, I am proud of the fact that I have forced the minister to come out to speak to the public on the current situation. I'm a very proud member of Parliament in this. But that's not what I am here for. But this is it. First of all, we need a clear road policies. It's painful. The other year it was, these kids do not have English and maths at Beke. The other year it was, they do not have NIN numbers. The other year it was, they do not have voters ID card. This year is they don't have, they were not uploaded cast. Education is not a lottery in which you bring in new regulations every day. One major policy, when we're done with these 150 taking the exams, we include them into the portal. One thing we should do is this: let's have a fixed 6 principles for our public exams. As I am sitting here now, if you go, I am asking AYV to go to this area where they give ID cards, the NCI. You will see plenty Becker students who are supposed to take Becker are now leaving their schools to come for NIN numbers, because if they don't have NIN numbers, they will not take the exams. Come to think about kids in my own small village and my small chiefdom. They have to move now from Munu, Masongbala, to come to Cambia to have an NIN number. Think about those who are in Krubola, in hard-to-reach areas. We should not bring policies of examination when the exam is ripe. You bring in the policies, you encourage the people to accept the policies. But by the way, if you bring in NIN for Becker students, and you're asking them to come to the district headquarters town to come for it, wait, when we wanted the votes of these people, we took machines to their villages to register to vote for us. What is wrong asking NNCI to go to these schools, taking this Becker, and have the kids giving NIN numbers? Why, as political leaders, we always make it comfortable when it benefits us, but make it difficult when it benefits the ordinary people? Why are we so heartless sometimes?
But there was a time frame, that the NCI gave to students. I remember, I think 6 or so months that, taking exams.
I'll tell you what is interesting. That's the topic for another day, but let me take you through it. When the registration the voter registration was supposed to go on, it was supposed to capture all citizens. Then you break into who are voters. The promise was, no, school kids should go home. They will continue their registration after the voters registration. As I speak, nothing has been done. This is what I keep saying. Something keep coming to mind. And this is how wicked we are sometimes as politicians and leaders. Our kids are not attending private and public schools. Most the political class, their kids don't even take WAS. They take GCE levels. So when this saga is going on, they don't know what is happening. They are comfortable because their kids are not going to go through these hustles. As I speak, part of those who are sent into the portal, who are rejected, I will say, please permit me and let the school authorities understand with me that I have to make examples. If you go to any watch now, you have over 100 kids who have been sent into the portal. And these are not schools you call in fishy deals. And you all don't admit students on the way to come and sit in their schools. God forbid that. They have to train you, have to go through. So if schools like this are having kids who have been omitted from the portal, you go to schools like Edwards, schools like Prince of Wales are also being omitted. You go to schools in the provinces, you have all private schools all over the countries who are being omitted. Mr. President, are these kids not Sierra Leoneans? Do they not deserve to benefit from your pleasantry? Do they not deserve to benefit from what we expect? By my calculation and imagination, with the free quality education being introduced in 2018, now we are having the first fruits. I was expecting over 300,000 kids taking this exam this year. That's my expectations. And that's the calculations of the figures I have. So why are we depriving them? Is it because their people are poor? Is it because their people are not in the political class? Is it because politicians in this country have just been very wicked and heartless? Our people deserve better.
So what step needs to be taken now? Because you're calling on the president to intervene into this, and the ministry actually said they're working on to see how best they can able to resolve this problem, and the students who are left out, to be incorporated into the system for them to have the opportunity to sit the WAS exam. And time is coming very close.
Interestingly, left with the Ministry of Education alone, they can do nothing. Left with them alone, they can do nothing. I don't trust the minister to solve this problem. I don't believe he has the expatriate to solve this problem. And what was interesting is when I came out when I started talking about these issues, what they did was, instead of addressing the issues, they thought attacking me was a way to keep me off the issues. Well, as a politician, a student politician, all my life, when you attack me, you just embolden me to go in for what the actual facts are. And the actual facts are simple. One, are there students left out? Yes. Even WAEC and the ministry have accepted 30,000. Are there students left out? Yes. 202,000 kids were submitted to be verified for their Becker status. Are there students left out? Yes. Schools who are in the private school who are supposed to take WAS are being left out. So you have 3 categories of kids left out. Is a caste, which is the reason for them to be left out, as important as the exams? Caste is just continuous assessment. It's only calling for 20 to 30% of the grade what the student is going to have. So for why students like Remy Johnson, who will go to an exam for 70% and even write and get 50% and pass, if the school deliberately or by mistake do not submit their caste, those students can still go into the exam and get their C's and go to university. I am saying this is the future base of this nation. In fact, interestingly, it was when I raised this issue that the ministry pulled out a press release, a memo, that all did is to go to their various districts, get the names of all the schools, get the number of kids who are supposed to take the exams, who are left out or who are in the system. So I asked myself the questions. So even when they were defending and insulting me, they never even had the data. So my problem is, I think this issue is above the Minister of Education. This is one of the many issues. I have always been one MP that will call on the President. Mr. President, now you call this war for will. You say all man for common na farm for Kalambuk. Then picking away left na farm na Kailau, na Kono, na Moyamba, na Cambia. Now the term this for let them sit to us. Mr. President, they're not agree for let them sit. And the number is almost 150,000. For once, I know the President has listened to me. I was the MP who said, looking at the current state of the Kush situation, to address it, we need a situation that calls for a health emergency. He listened to my cry. I am crying again today on behalf of the kids. My kids are not taking the exams this year. But 1,500, 150,000 kids is no small number.
And you also make an allegation of 50% of these numbers, are from, the Northwest and West.
Okay, I think that's where the PRO of the ministry maybe was not paying attention to what I said. I said 50% of the schools that are involved in the schools rejected are from the North, Northwest, and Western area. When I was making those analyses, I was being very, very careful not to mislead the public, or for the ministry not to perceive. Because you see, one of the interesting things why most times members of parliament don't speak out. Remember the issue of Tawa? When he was green and he spoke out on issues concerning nation, they say, oh, they behave like C7 SLPP MP. When you're red and you raise issue of this concern, oh, now politics, APC no go allow, we law, we rule. So sometimes, most good MPs decide to keep quiet. But not me. Me, I'll speak on any issue. Whether it affects government, whether it affects my party, I'll speak on it for the betterment of our nation. These kids, I was expecting, after my analysis, if you want to prove me wrong, let the minister, today, what I'm expecting the minister to do in the press conference, let him present the total number of kids that were sent to the Ministry of Education for verification by government and government-assisted schools. Let him present us the list of candidates submitted by private schools. Let him submit to us the list he presented to WAEC, the number of kids. Let him present to us the number of kids WAEC approved, and tell us what is the difference in all these lines. If they are not up to 150,000, I'll come to the public and apologize for misleading the public. I will. But I am saying this issue is more than a press conference now. This issue is more than proving AKK right or wrong. Mr. President, the bulk stops at your desk. And I know one thing, you've always purported to tell us, that when it comes to the welfare of kids, you champion it. When it comes to the welfare of young people, you champion it. It's one to appoint young people to sensitive position, but it's also one to protect the young people who are to lead, to succeed us, the very young people that are in position now to take the lead. Let me also say, for this material situation, the Minister of Education is not good for purpose.
And
why would you say that?
you know, and
you know, this situation is not a situation that came overnight. This was a situation that has been in existence for almost 3 months. Almost, he inherited the problem. He came to the ministry meeting this same kind of situation. So what he would have done even before now was to set clear terms and conditions. Publish them. Take them to newspaper houses. Take them to radio stations. You know, sometimes when people go to television stations as PIOs of ministries and they talk and they think they've educated the entire country, it's sad. You know how many people in my village have never seen a television station, television? They don't even know if AYV exists. So if you come here, you sit here comfortably with your coat and you're bluffing and you make statements and you think the people in Kagboro are listening to you, you may be deceiving yourself. And most of these entries we are talking about are entries that have to do with IT system.
But I mentioned this, that I believe it was in November that the portal was reopened again for 2 weeks.
You know,
so what exactly is the issue?
It's interesting. It's only in Sierra Leone you have portals open, close, portals open, close. In Ghana, the portal is still open. That's what I'm saying.
But don't you think we probably have enough reasons and not to compare with Ghana, because it was reopened as per requested, but some people are claiming that it should be open more than just for 2 weeks.
If you listen to me, I said there are those schools, private schools, who are to pay for their candidates, whose money were not accepted and they were not allowed to access the portal. That's a whole batch of students. You have those who were submitted to WAEC and to Minister of Education. Minister of Education is supposed to deal with their BECE and every other thing to show if they are qualified. Out of that batch, the ministry sent 176,000 to WAEC. 146,000 was approved, 30,000 was not approved. That's another set. You have a set now of, that's almost 90,000. Those who were rejected by WAEC and those who were not sent by the Ministry of Education to WAEC, plus the situation. So when you put out all this, even if the portal is open up to now, you still have almost like 100,000 students who are naturally going to miss out. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
These are they naturally will miss out because, in fact, they have not even allowed them to know their status. If a school have sent in students to Ministry of Education, and you've cut down that number to 176,000, those who are left out, have you ever read a piece of why they were left out by the ministry? No. And you think you go into the Ministry of Information press conference today to explain how the principals did not meet up with time, how the schools authority are the problem. For God's sake, waiting at Kakochi on the kids have no crime they've committed. Our interest should be the kids. Solve the problem of the kids, go punish the principals. As we're talking, most schools have been closed as a result of the same problem over the years. Because as a parent, I send my child to your school. You promised me you've done entries with Ministry of Education. The only criteria for Ministry of Education to stop a child not taking the exam is BECE, NIN. My child have all of that. And when it is time to take the exams, my child is not taking the exams. If I have another child who is in class 1 or from 1 in that school, I will remove the child from the schools. And in no part of the world can government provide schools for every child. So you have to encourage those in the private sector to boost the educational sector. But if you're discouraging them, it's bad. Perhaps, I am still saying, the minister is not fit for purpose. Mr. President, please step in and save your kids.
There are so many comments on our Facebook page which we'll go through, and as well. Moise is saying, Peacock, I wish the MP can produce his own statistics, because every student has provided index numbers generated by the system which each school codes.
And this is from Ibrahim B. saying nothing is wrong with AKKs talking about the national issue. The students committed no crime in trying to take their WAS examination.
Aisha Sali Kanu Moriba is saying 150,000 children deprived from taking their exams is a gross act. Of abuse and state failure. Please, Mr. President, the nation is looking at you with trust and hope that this challenge is addressed.
And this is from Alaji Bailoba, who is saying the minister do not need to appeal to WAEC. He has ordered them to reopen the portal and allow the kids to write their exam. The ministry and WAEC are so wicked for not allowing this huge number not to take this exam after they have spent 6 years in school. Come on, Mr. President, intervene and allow these kids to write the exam as it is your flagship.
Alaji Beloba is saying the ministry and WAS are so wicked for not allowing this huge number not to take this exam after they have spent 6 years in school. Come on, Mr. President, intervene and allow these kids to write this exam as it is your flagship program.
And this is from Maurice Peacock. I wish the MP can produce his own statistics because every student's work has provided index numbers generated by the system, which each school has a code.
And Aisha Salah Kanu Moriba is saying with or without WAEC principles, it is a state's responsibility to ensure that the right of education is fulfilled and equal for all. Thanks AKK for raising this national issue in the interest of our children. No children deserve to be deprived of the right to education.
And this is from Abbas Habib Koka Bangali. If the Southerners school principals have submitted their pupils, what's wrong with Northern and Western principals?
Yeah, you can well have some problem.
I guess that's all, because of its life, we can't really have access to all the comments.
Yes, I know, because there are so many comments and concerns for citizens.
Yeah, this is from Osman saying portals should and must be open and only closed when all students are being imputed into the system. I guess that'll be all.
Yes, I think it's important, because this is a national issue. It's a national issue that should be looking into more, especially, and like I mentioned, that the minister will speak to the nation today, through the Ministry of Information and Civic Education press briefing every Tuesday at 2 p.m. We're going to broadcast that live.
Absolutely.
And, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation headquarters here in Freetown. So we'll get the ministry sides today and as well. So, Honorable, what's your take from the messages we have?
I want to thank Sierra Leoneans. The first thing is, in everything I have done in this fight, my priority is to educate and to bring the information to the people. And secondly, what do I want to achieve? All I want to achieve is the fact that these kids should not be deprived, and we should have a national policy on the rules of who is to take WAS. If it's Becker, they're asking for, if I don't have a Becker result, I don't go for WAS. I know that. If I don't have an NIN, I don't go in for WAS. But the situation is, as it is now, we must not deprive the kids. Government can punish whosoever they want to punish, but the kids should not be the ones that will pay the cost. They are poor kids. These are the future of these nations. And interestingly, I am yet to see any of us who are in the political class. I think not up to 5% of us went to private school. All of us went to government schools. And we were not deprived. We were not stopped. We never had these issues when we were sitting in WAS. Why is it at the peak when we're prioritizing education? At the time when we're making education a flagship project? At the time when we're spending so much money on education? That is the time we're having these problems. Don't forget, it is 22% of the national budget is on education. Therefore, even when people say, oh, they are repeaters, 22% of our budget should address the issue of even the repeaters. And besides, a huge chunk of that number is from private schools. They are paying their own monies. So we should not have a problem with this. We should not deprive our kids. These are our future. The fact that today we have the opportunity, because we've been employed by the people, and we can send our kids to private schools where they can take GCE O levels, London GC, does not mean they are better off placed than other kids. They are poor because society have not created an enabling environment for them to have what they deserve as citizens. We should not impoverish them by depriving their kids. I have said long ago that if the free quality education does not yield the fruits, I see it as a trap by the very political class to trap the kids of poor people to remain poor, whilst our children have quality and better education to rule them again. It is forbidden. Let's treat them well. Mr. President, my message is clear. Again, Honorable Ikeke is appealing to you that these kids who are left out are kids from Bond. They are kids from Pujeo. They are kids from Kenema. They are kids from Cambia. They are from Bombali. They are all over the country. Poloko, Lunge. Their parents danced for you. They voted for you in their numbers. They came out, even when it was raining. They danced for politicians. Is this how we pay them back? Do we make policies to deprive the poor kids? Or do we use the errors of the principals and the mistakes of the principals to punish the kids? The kids deserve better.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Honorable Abdul Karim Kamara. He's
Kamara.
The Kamara, opposition chief whip in Parliament. And thank you for speaking on the issue. And like I said, we invited the Ministry of Basic Education to be part of the program, but was told that the minister will address the issue today at the Ministry of Information and Civic Education press briefing.
The Honorable Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. Now, for who we don't know, this is the first minister from Banana in the history of Salome. And the first minister is from Banana. So you don't make already you don't set record. But also I think say this minister and technocrats, they go about and work in a very strategic, deliberate way for building up the workway Minister Dr. David when you are saying do when you are a minister, and for also make sure say gains the way his excellency don't set in the commitments to human capital development, and then gains that they will continue to foresee them. Of late, news don't go all around about public exams. Public exams. I can for women as it can not say with you. Who news be, who can the minister, who can provide the information, awareness, what's still there, to make available to get into so discuss the video. Now we need the minister can clarify and provide the facts, because plenty will be seen online are fiction. So now I gladly for hand the microphone over to the Honorable Minister with a male colleague, brother and friend, Mr. Conrad Saki. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. I want to tell you all, let me start off first of all with a few statements that as Minister of Education, it is definitely the intention to make sure so we're not left, not picking, and not placed behind. Not picking and not placed behind. However, in providing education in the country, we therefore dwell within the budget we will get, and at all times we therefore make sure say we deliver whatever services we deliver and demonstrate value for money. Now, For putting a day on social media, we are correct. So I want to bear me a little bit. May I cover a couple of things to just set the record straight. First, let us start off with WAEC. WAEC are 5 countries that make all the English-speaking countries in West Africa and then WAEC. So you get Nigeria, Ghana, the Gambia, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Then 5 countries then they agree, they get a written called a convention. This now in set out the rules where they guide all the exams that we'll get in West Africa. It's important that we know this because quite a lot of time they read on social media that the minister will do this, the minister will do that, and the minister can only work within the convention where they set for me. So that's now one thing I want for us to establish very quickly. The other thing I also want to establish is that when we look at the WAS exam cycle, Ghana, they out of that cycle they right now. Because during COVID, they decide for opt-out of the cycle, so they go address their own issue the way they get now COVID. The reason why I want to clarify that is because sometimes people then go on social media and see say the Ghanaian system not upload them cassettes. They feel to say if they're not able to upload them Ghana because Ghana don't negotiate their own way out of it. That's not how it works. The 4 countries then continue, but then at the same cycle, Ghana is out of it. So another point I just want to make. The third point I want to make is that WAEC, like we get 3 exams the way they administer. They get NPSC, and in NPSC, then several continuous assessment mark the way they get for collect, cash, then get 10%. You also get Becker, then get 20%. Then you get WAS, we get 30%. Now, NPSC for the primary school exam and the junior secondary school exam, now national exam then. The minister gets some say in how they run. When it comes and WAS, now international exam. And let me just clarify why an international exam. When you pass WAS now one of the 5 countries, you get access to universities now all the 5 countries. So therefore, Dande, WAEC, na Ghana, get more control than waiting me as a minister get. It's important because sometimes I hear people and they say, but the minister will do this, the minister will do that. I can negotiate, I can lobby, I can try to use all sorts of means to make them see me on side, but by and large, the final decision na Ghana today. I just want to just mention that. Now, let me go to this caste system. What is a caste? Because again, down in other thing, I don't know, we're not correct. There are 2 types of assessments where you get in education. There are 2 main types of assessment where you get in education. You get formative assessments, where are assessments where you get as the beginner they go along, or test whether the beginner they learn. You can also use that opportunity there for give feedback to the beginner, so you identify weaknesses and help them for improve. And a good teacher also use the information from that formative assessment day for decide how they teach the beginner. So you will see some techniques that some teacher they use where they take the classroom and break that into 3 groups. It gets what they call fast learners, medium learners, and sometimes the slow learners. Yes? The fast learner you want for stretcher. Because if you not stretcher, it will lose interest and it will cause you beaucoup problem. The medium learner, if you give a little bit of work, it will pick that work up and you're able to do the work on himself. Now almost a self-dependent learner. And then you get the slow learner that give additional support to or make that beginning learn. This is why assessment is important. And this is why CAS is important. I just want to stress that the other type of assessment is summative assessment. This now what happens to the end of the year. So you promote somebody from one class to another. And also, in some cases, you left out from one level to the other, so from primary school to secondary school, junior secondary school to senior secondary school. These are summative assessments. Now, let me go back to how the CAS they work. In the old system, you submit CAS at any time. In some cases, in the past, then they submit CAS after the beginner don't go through the exam. Then they submit CAS later. But what can normally happen a while? Then we withhold the result until you submit that CAS. I want to now take that on your board. that system they, they give. That system they, it does stop, they give. In 2016, the council, in Ghana, decide say wetin dey happen, they get a new system wey they call the yearly cash online system. Most of the other countries there, now West Africa, the other 4 countries there, they adopt that system in 2016. Salon no adopt am. Salon be out of that system. 2021, 2022, the council compelled Salon to go into that system. So then PKI will take was this year, 2024. Now then begin this new system. So in this new system, what they do, they use a computer system program where say you will upload cash every year for 3 years until you get to the point where the person will take the exam. If you don't upload cash in year 2, if you don't upload cash in year 1, the system will allow you to go upload cash in year 2. If you don't upload cash in year 1 and 2, the system will allow you to upload cash in year 3. Somehow, when the system was introduced, let me tell you what of them 248 schools and they submit data to the ministry. When you walk down the out, the data when they submit to the ministry comes to about 13,000. So that's the one formula what they use for work out the one that we eligible for make for city was we not submit was. But let me just say one more thing, please. I just beg you, one more thing. Then 173. You remember I tell you say we opened the portal 4 term. The last time when the portal opened, now for convert the 173 people in there, so that all 173 will go na the portal. WAEC provide we with a list of 71 schools that will make the within the situation where they begin load their cash, but they're not going at the second phase of the portal. We contact all 71 schools. 11 of those schools, even we don't contact them, 11 of those schools still not submit. So even after we don't open the portal for the last step, school and they will still not submit. I want you now to ask yourself the question. Why? Why? You can speculate that these are people that are fictitious candidates that they not put in the system, and therefore they now can't convert them. Because what would they say? If you convert them, you need to change person name. You need to change person name. You know they change person age. So when I ask yourself, why? When they give you the opportunity for make you can upload, you still not upload. So that list when they talk, say the ministry get, it can be anything. It can be even 500,000 if you want to think about that. But that don't mean to say 500 people, 500,000 people don't ever go inside the portal. So I don't want to spend with time too much. They talk about these things. We work out. But as of now, the formula what they use, the 248 schools and the one that will submit, is work out at 13,000 thereabouts.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. The Honorable Comrade Sakina, Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. I want to say something before I come over to Madam Ellie. Last week, a member of Parliament, Honorable KKK, I think I named that, put out a video I will call very irresponsible. In a member of Parliament, Honorable KKK, you are a member of Parliament, you get access to it. You get power for comparing, for can present evidence and data to you. The minister is always open. In video reports, he made claims then, we as lawyers are false, but not to the false claim they make and take issue with what the Honorable do. The Honorable go as far as claiming the number them affected disproportionately than the North and the Northwest. In this ministry, we will not continue for say Salon pass we all. You can try to do other things for play politics, but you are not playing politics to begin a life and the future of this country. Honorable Keke Namawa I expect for. I'm really sad for see that kind of video there. Because he get power for get the truth. He get access to the facts. But he chose for use propaganda and for make a claim with sow discord and division, and we get potential for cause unnecessary tension. So I call now and other honorables and other leaders across Salon. Do that. Before you go out and make a statement and do a video, the Minister of Information and Civic Education, I go out of the way for present information to different people who reach out to me for ask for clarification. And the Minister and door also open. So do you allow make use of the opportunity? All right, Minister of Education, I have plenty of questions that will come online for you. So let's go through them in addition to the one that I'll ask right now. Some they don't have yesterday, so please don't go to the name. Basically, the one who waiting we do for the one that we don't proceed, they this list we will talk about. Somebody is whether you deliberately damage the 30,000 students there. Somebody they ask any plans or strategy for against the decrease in exam participation. Somebody they ask whether you don't consider for bring other players on board, like the Confederation of Ex-Pupil Association, particularly for reduced exam malpractice. Somebody they ask, so with the fate, okay, waiting for our program, we send to submit a cast. Then the sitters, I think you have somebody has returned your fate. Somebody else will send me text say, which measures we don't put in place for really satisfied teachers in a classroom for the additional subject them within a new curriculum and for building capacity. And then somebody asked which measure they want to put in place for prevent pedophiles from disguising as teachers to prey on young underage innocent girls. And then is CAS year one portal going for open for the last and final time? I think you don't answer this question already. And why YMK try for value 10% of CAS 1 over 10% of CAS 2? This person again, so normally we use it. I say YMK try for value 10% of CAS 1 over 10% of CAS 2, 10% of CAS 3, and 70% of examination grade. I think you will explain that in terms of how that they pay. But then you get a question as well inside this group. So you can decide for one, sharp.
Then I'll come to your second question.
I don't think say what may happen will affect radical inclusion, because radical inclusion are the policy of the government anyway. And what may happen not to a policy shift from a government and a bad practice that we get from some element of the school leadership. I want to emphasize on the fact that a large majority of the school leadership got this right, and we are praise we get for them. The one way they get it wrong, I started off my presentation by actually saying that as Minister of Education, I know I left no picking being, and I know I left no place being. So let me just say to you, I will work on something behind the scenes. I don't want to announce that today because there are some financial implications. But I will work on something where once that comes into being, we go able to announce. We also go make sure, say, in terms of the data we get, we clean the data. In other words, people that we know eligible for exams will not take the exams. School that we not approve, no go day, we no go support who that they get that at least because they not approved. Yes? So we have to get some sense in the system. Before and sister, somebody they pay, when they talk about the data, somebody they pay somebody or make them go to school. Somebody they pay the principal or make them go to school as a school pupil. Rather than go take the exam, that same money will they take pay. That is the same pay for private. Now ask yourself, I want you now for those things as a group of thought. Why make you go pay the same amount for going to school and not private? Una want to tell the answer? No, and that's 30%. Even you say you get 30% for free, you don't work self. Is that good quality education? If me as Minister of Education don't want to now and condone that, then una self will ask them and put me there. So be honest with yourself. And then nobody not tell me say this na radical inclusion. About this no nothing to do with radical inclusion. No, be honest with yourself as a country. If something happens to me while I left na this place now, they can me go call out hospital. If the doctor will get for treat me, if we don't get 30%, we don't deserve. You know people say that me die one and they go pen. You know people say I own that duty today for make sure say I clean this system. It's not a radical inclusion. Anyway, somebody mentioned and relates this to Kush. I want to look at it two ways. I don't think because we get this kind of situation will force anybody for going to Kush. I don't think so. That's why I have made sure that I've spent my time to make sure we solve this problem. All Easter way, all the money may enjoy. At the get meeting with the current chairman Awayek and the deputy chair for see what we able to do. Before I can this meeting, now the same meeting they are come also for make sure say are able to get other people on the side for make sure say we solve the problem. But we therefore do it in a sensible way. There is something about pedophiles in our school system. I know that there was one school day where they get one teacher we abuse some them. I can't go more into that because there is an active investigation. But for a long time in the education system, when they talk about gender-based violence, when they talk about comprehensive sexuality education, we have systems in the curriculum that we don't introduce for make sure say the beginner first of all know right and wrong, and know say if you get an adult who abuse the trust, then get a recourse to actually make sure that we address that. But one of the things that we would not begin to talk about abroad. If you want to go into any job where involve working with beginners, you get to go through police check. Our current police check might not deal with all of these issues. So perhaps now something I need to meet with the police and for make we look at for make sure say we get them kind of process them. So that teacher, I can't talk much about that. But if somebody don't get that kind of question about integrity and waiting, we will put on a list. We say enough for work with beginner again. This is something where we will work on. And I will guarantee you that say we will work hard for make sure say this not happen again.